guys, welcome back to Wind Down with Books with your girl Kay. As you can see by the title, we are reviewing When No One Is Watching. This is a suspense thriller. Guys, you already know the vibes. I have my glass of wine here. I'm drinking Chardonnay. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. But alright, let's just jump right into it. So this book. First, I'll start by saying the book started off slow, but it picked up. And then it picked up towards the end. And then when you got to the end, it's just like all the good shit started happening. And then that's it. And I was like, yo, what's good? Like, you made me sit through all this, read all this, and then you just gonna come quick like that? Like, come on. That's like when a guy or girl hyping up their sex game or whatever. And then when you finally get it, it's like, all right, now. But now, let me stop playing. But anyway, so the story follows two characters. Theo is a Caucasian male. He lives with his girlfriend, ex-girlfriend Kim. Kim is one of them blondes that had come from money, that think the world revolves around them, that they could treat people any which way they can, and they always get what they want. While Theo, he comes from basically nothing. Well, I don't want to say nothing, but he grew up poor. He had to fend for everything, and then his dad was in the mafia. Then he started to engage with the mafia. Then he got out. Then Kim was his way. Getting with Kim was his way of saying, like, all right, you know, she's rich. I'm gonna just stay with her because that's the come up, like the poor boy and the rich girl rescue type thing. And you know, she had money. You know what I'm saying? So I can't blame it on me. Look, if you see you got your cake, about to come up too. What's up, Kim? So, anyways. And then we have Sydney. So Sydney is young, 25. She's a divorcee. She moves back home to Brooklyn, Glifford Place, with her into her mom's home. Sydney is African American, and she really cares about her community. She cares that gentrification is real. So this is the story about the horrors of gentrification and how the white man, the white organizations, the white companies, whether it's from pharmaceuticals to marketing to real estate, has come into Brooklyn. The particular area was Glifford's Place, and is taking it over. And white people, essentially white individuals, white couples, are gentrifying the neighborhood, right? So here it is. So Sydney comes back home. She realized that a lot of her neighbors are no longer residing in the homes, and the homes are now inhabited by white people who don't understand the area, who don't understand the community that it once was. You know, you have a few African Americans that remain on the block, but the block is not the same. You have these white individuals coming into the community thinking that it's theirs. And you know, that shit really pisses me off because it happens today. Like, Brooklyn is so damn gentrified today. Bed-Stuy, Crown Heights, the whole fucking Eastern Parkway. And it's just like, yo, y'all gentrify the neighborhood, and then y'all start screaming Black Lives Matter. But you done pushed out the black residents that was there. Make it make sense. I'ma drink to that. So anyways, so Sydney makes it her business to be like, yo, I'm still here. I'm not selling my house. Because you have all these real estate companies, and one in particular is called BVT. That's the name that they use. And they keep harassing Sydney. They was harassing her mom. They harassed a lot of people on the block, as well as Good Neighbor LLC is another real estate company, right? So once Sydney returns, she's just upset, like, and she's very emotional about her community because, you know, she grew up there and it's changing. It's like, you know, what she knew is gone, and she's trying to figure it out. So she's also dealing with a secret, right? So in the beginning of the book, if you do choose to read the book, or if you've read the book, then you know, like, I was trying to figure out, like, yo, you know, Sydney's calling her mom, and then she's telling people that, you know, her mom is sick and she's not available, stuff like that. So I'm the whole time thinking, like, her mom is either in the hospital or her mom is in a nursing home or something like that, right? So come to find out, Sydney mom is dead. So let me give you the backstory. So when Sydney was away with her boyfriend, they was living in another her husband at the time. They was living in another state. Her mom was trying to figure out a means. So, and her mom got really sick. Then her mom couldn't afford the medical bill, started piling up. Then the mom fell behind in the property taxes because they own a brownstone. So a lady from the good fella came like, oh, all right, listen, boom, I could give you some money. You sign these documents sending the house to me. You could live here until you basically die, right? So the mother is, she got tricked. A lot of us African Americans and not just African Americans, people in general don't read the fine print on documents. We should start because they finesse the mom or whatever. So the mom signs the paper, she gets the money, whatever, but the house is their own. So then everything that the lady said that she was gonna do for the mom, she did not do. She lied and shit, right? So the mom, after realizing like, she got scammed, didn't really tell Sydney until Sydney came back to move to the home, and she's like, I'm dying. If I die, the bank or the real estate company is gonna take the house. Do not let them get my house. I worked so hard for this house. Even if I die, don't say nothing. Let it rock, right? So, Sydney, her mom was sitting down one day or whatever, one night. The mom just ended up just dying on her because she was really sick. So Sydney, and the mom also owned a community garden. So Sydney like, damn, if I call the cops, call the ambulance, they're going to have a death certificate. And she's like, she really needs first of all, she needed a place to stay. And she wanted to get her mom's house back. She was potentially working with a lawyer, but the lawyer was in cahoots, and I'm gonna get to that, right? So unfortunately, at night, her and Sydney's best friend Drea buried the mom in the community garden. So that's why Sydney was lying about her mom being alive and not being available, stuff like that. So Sydney was dealing with that. She couldn't tell anybody that her mom was dead. She was afraid, she was scared, and she's dealing with the fact that gentrification is real. Her neighbors are going missing. I'm gonna touch on that. And she don't have no other family, right? So I'm like, damn. So in the beginning of the book, Sydney goes on they have a white lady was leading the tour of the community, right? So the whole tour, Sydney goes and there's all the new white neighbors who move into the houses or whatever. And Sydney's like, you saying everything that you saying on this tour is about the white people, and you're not talking about the famous black people or the black residents who have lived in these homes or who have built this community. And the lady was like, if you don't like it, do your own tour. So Sydney like, I bet, say no more, whatever. So she starts doing her whole goal now. Like they had planned to do a block party. So she's like, all right, after the block party, I'm gonna do a tour. So now she's doing all this research for the tour about the community and the different buildings, because they had a hospital there. It was a broke down hospital, a vacant hospital, whatever, right? Everything is gonna come together, guys. So she starts doing research, and then here comes Theo. So, all right. So I'm gonna stop. She starts doing research. So now we're gonna get to Theo. So Theo buys the brownstone with fucking Kim, because Kim is fucking Kim, and they're not basically, as soon as they buy the house, Kim no longer wants to be with Theo. Theo's living in a freaking attic. Kim is living in an apartment. She's treating my man so bad. Theo's basically like, I'm staying with her just because, I invested some money into the house, right? So this is let me tell you how fucked up Kim is, right? So Kim is like, I don't care that you invested money into the house. This relationship not working. It's inevitable. I'ma leave, go to the Hamptons or whatever. You gotta be out in a week. So now Theo first of all, Theo invested money into this crib, and you gonna tell a man that he gotta leave a crib that he invested in, and then she's basically like, you don't have no money. I got mad lawyers. My dad is powerful. There's nothing that you could do. So he's just about to up and quit. And I'm like, in the book, I'm like, Theo, if you up and leave this crib, we gonna have a problem. We really gonna have a problem, Theo. Stand up. Like, stand up. Kim is a bitch. And she using her money and her daddy's money against him. I don't like people like that. Like, because what happens to you will happen. You know what I'm saying? What goes around comes around. Right, whatever. So Theo and Sydney live across the street from each other, right? So Theo would watch Sydney through the window, Sydney would watch Theo through the window. So Sydney and Theo met at a neighborhood group meeting where they was planning a block party, and Theo offered to help Sydney with the research. He don't got no job, he's unemployed, he don't have nothing better to do, and on top of that, he likes Sydney. So I'm like, I like Theo, I fucks with Theo, whatever, right? So all the while, mad shit was going on, guys. Mad neighbors was disappearing. So all of a sudden, you know, neighbors talking about, they were saying neighbors was selling the house, and neighbors were selling the house. At one point, a valedictorian teenage boy, Preston, goody two shoes, they go do the right thing, go to school, come home. All of a sudden, he gets arrested for drugs found in the house. So that his parents are forced to sell the home to pay for lawyers. Then there was the neighborhood mayor, right? He would I can't remember his name, but the neighborhood mayor, that's what they called him. And he would never sell his home. He would never leave. That was his home for many years. One day, he just talked. They said that he went to visit his daughter out of state, and then next minute he was taken to the hospital. Then a white family moved into the home with his fucking dog. That makes sense. Then on top of that, another lady who would never sell her home, they said that she sell home. So Sydney and Theo is like, yo, what's going on, right? Like, why all our neighbors is going missing? Like, Sydney like, yo, this shit is not adding up, and it's like, it's only me that's paying attention to it, right? On top of that, there's a big pharmaceutical company called Veritech, right? That's trying to rebuild the old hospital for like a treatment facility, stuff like that. So as soon as that project come in, you know, it got passed or whatever, and then people were protesting against it. And it was just destroying the community or whatever. So nobody liked it. So Sydney had asked her best friend Drea to, you know, find out some information. But Drea agreed, you know, because Drea was the type of friend that ultimately would do anything for Sydney. She was her backbone, her support system. So she agreed to look into it. So Drea had a work boyfriend, right? So she had asked her work boyfriend to look into the company. Unbeknown to Sydney, the boo at the time, whenever anybody requested it was public documents, but whenever anybody requested documents on Veritech and the construction that they was coming in and the project, internal red flag would go off in the system, alerting the higher ups, the bosses, right? So when that happened, shit got real. So I'm gonna pause it, right? I'm gonna pause it so you can put it together. So at one day, you know, Drea and Sydney, they was chilling, whatever, and, you know, Sydney suffered from, and I feel like she suffered from anxiety and a little bit of paranoia, but again, she was dealing with a lot that she couldn't really speak out loud, so it's understandable. So one day, you know, Sydney and Drea had gotten into a fight, but usually they make up. And so Sydney had texted Drea, and Drea had stopped texting or whatever. So it had been a couple days, and it was unlike Drea. So Sydney had decided to go into Drea's room. When she went into Drea's room, she found a check from the Good Neighbor LLC for $50,000. So let me tell you what Drea did. That was fucked up, because that's your best friend, and it'd be like, be your best friends, right? Let me stop. So Drea was working with Good Neighbors LLC to secretly help sell Sydney's mom house behind her back, right? So the whole time, Drea's like, I'm gonna help you, Sydney, get the house back. We gonna work, we gonna do this, we gonna talk to the lawyers. All while she took a fucking check from the cashed the check and dipped out. So before I knew anything what happened to Drea, I'm like, yo, she really violated. Like, that's your friend from youngin'. Y'all grew up together, and for $50,000, you betrayed your friend. So Sydney found the check, and she's hurt. And on top of that, Drea's nowhere to be found. So that's that. So before Drea disappeared, she had stuffed the documents of Veritech under Sydney's door. So when Sydney went to go to her house, whatever, she went through the document, and she found all the gentrification of what was going to happen to her community. At one point, there was no more brownstones. It was all stores. Then it went to condominiums. Like, they wanted to push all black people out and make it a white superior neighborhood. Fucked up, right? Yes. So they was just kicking everybody out. They even kicked Abdul, the corner store dude, out, right? They kicked him out, and he was going nowhere, and then they replaced it with some fucking organic ass, bootlegged ass corner store that you can't even get Lucy's from anymore. Like, come on, bro. Like, a neighborhood store is a neighborhood store. That's a sense of community, right? So all the while, you know, Sydney's just, all this shit is coming together. And then on top of that, the new white people started a group chat with all the old and new residents, right? So in the group chat, they're like, oh, calling black people, these people don't know how to be quiet. These people don't know how to clean up after their dog. These people need to go. Talking about our community. First of all, sis, you colonizer, you came into a neighborhood that wasn't yours. The fuck is you talking about? Ours. It's not yours. You took it. You displaced families and you didn't give a two fucks about it. And I just don't understand. But anyways, that's just how I feel. I hate gentrification. I hate all of it. I'm all for rebuilding the community by keeping the same residents there. You get what I'm saying? Like, those are people, like, you kicking out people who lived there for a long time and raising the rent, raising the property taxes, and they have nowhere to go. You giving them fucking money, they have nowhere to go. Some people don't even get money. You know what I'm saying? So the whole gentrification, and then, you know, you move, white people move into these areas and don't give a fuck about black people, and then you scream Black Lives Matter. It don't make any sense, but that's just how I feel. But anyways, so yeah, back to the story, right? So Sydney and Theo, they find out all of this about the documents at Veritech, right? So then they realize, hold on. You know what? Matter of fact, yeah. So then they realize, like, what's really going on. So the only person that Sydney trusted at the time was Theo, because Theo didn't think she was crazy and Theo was there for her, right? Again, you know, Sydney don't really fuck with white people like that. So she's really skeptical of Theo, but he's showing her that he's there for her. So one day, they go over to Theo crib after to sort everything out, all the information out that they found about the company and the gentrification and why they want the houses and stuff like that, right? So stuff started getting real. So they couldn't pinpoint like why all these people was going missing. It wasn't adding up, and nobody was like believing her except Theo. So she get to Theo crib or whatever. Mind you, Kim is out of town. So while Theo goes to get them drinks, there's an iPad on the counter. So on the counter, Sydney like, all right, let me peek at the iPad or whatever. She peek at the iPad and she see Kim texting like, oh, is the shit done? So she like, what? And it's a black girl with a knife and like some fire stuff, like, you know, stab or whatever, right? To stab her. So, and then Kim is like, yeah, we need this bitch dead or whatever. So the whole time, Sydney is thinking that Theo is playing her and Theo and Kim is planning to kill her. So Sydney, while Theo is still in the kitchen, dip out of the crib, take all the documents, go to her crib. So Theo realized like, yo, Sydney, why you left? So he calling Sydney, looking at her across the street or whatever, and then he sees somebody come breaking in. Right? I'm gonna pause there real quick. First, I need a drink. So before this break-in, weird stuff was happening to Sydney. Sydney was on her way to get her hair braided, and she called the Uber. Her Uber canceled, then another one popped up, right, called Drake. So she get in the fucking Uber as a white dude. The white dude started talking crazy to her, low-key threatening her, taking her in the opposite direction of her hair appointment. Next thing you know, she started like, let me out. He not letting her out. I'm like, yo, as soon as the second time I said, let me out, you go wrong. So I'm like, I said, let me out the fucking car. Let me out. Right? So she started panicking and shit. She talking about she got her keys in her hand. Yo, let me out, I said. So all of a sudden he just pull over the car and she get out, and then she had no evidence of that Uber ride or nothing. So she thinking she's paranoid. So that happened to her. Again, I said Preston got arrested and all that. So weird stuff was just happening. So I say that to say this. So the same Uber guy breaks into her crib. No, I'm lying. I forgot one. So also, a white van had parked outside the Sydney house one day pretending to be a Con Edison guy. So he was like, oh, I gotta come in and check the meter. Mind you, there's no Con Edison uniform, no van. So Theo happened to see the white van come across the street and like, yo, nah, you not coming in here, bro. So that dude from the van was gonna kill Sydney that day. She didn't even know it. So Theo saved her life because Theo was watching her. One, Theo was a little creep and shit, but I mean, I guess him watching at that time saved Sydney's life, but he was a little creep and shit. I can't blame you. You see a black Nubian queen looking good, I'll look too. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, So yeah, so now back to that, right? So Cindy's like, yo, this motherfucker trying to kill me. He's playing with Kim. So Theo calls Cindy. Cindy answers the phone like, yo, the fuck was going on? Theo's like, yo, listen, it's not me. Somebody's breaking into your crib. So somebody breaks in the crib. Cindy runs upstairs to her mom's apartment. In her mom's apartment, because it's all brownstones, right? And with the brownstones, they had hidden passages, and then there was also hidden tunnels that went from under the city and under the hospital, whatever. So Cindy goes there. She goes through the little hallway that's behind the closet, and then she finds Drea. So Drea is dead. So Drea is dead. She was in the wall, and her last message to Cindy was, "I'm sorry," and Cindy found her, right? So low key, now Theo busts into the crib. Theo in the crib now, and all of a sudden, you know, Cindy takes her mom's gun because she had grabbed it on her way in the closet and shoots the dude that came into her crib, right? Shoots him. Theo comes. Theo finishes him off. So they like, all right, something's going on. Because also, there was another black resident, Kavanaugh, whatever. Theo had seen him one time, and he was hooked on drugs. So he was the type of dude that never did drugs. He was against drugs. So all of a sudden, he's hooked on drugs. So, and he had emerged from the hospital. Right, so Cindy and Theo put two and two together that, yo, shit is about to go down. So as they trying to run at the house, all of a sudden a blackout occurs. This is intentional, and the cops come. The cops is finding all the residents. So Cindy and Theo dip out to the corner store because there was a tunnel under the corner store. So cops start to follow them. Cindy go, doop, doop. My man falls through the little cellar piece on the floor, cracks his neck. So they don't give a fuck. So Cindy got a gun. Cindy got her mom gun. Theo got the gun from the guy that came to kill Cindy, right? So they go into the tunnel. They find the passageway. As they go into the tunnel, let me tell you what they found. You want to know? They found all the residents that went missing. You know, there was all the residents, the black residents that they supposedly said sold the house, sold the store, they got money that was missing, was in the fucking hospital, y'all, tied in individual rooms with tubes coming out of their arms and shit. And you want to know why? Because the fucking Veritech needed test subjects to cure the opiate addiction. So because they couldn't do it, they took black people. Right? That's fucked up. If you know anything about the Tuskegee experiment, they did the same thing where they injected black African Americans with the syphilis disease. And that's what they was doing here. And I'm like, that's fucked up. Like, all these black people go missing, no one cared, everybody's lying, and they ain't used, drugged up, died. Like, that's no way to go. So Sydney and them realized, like, yo, we gotta rescue them, right? So Sydney and Theo find out that, yo, Kim and her dad is behind it, as well as the powerful white politician police. So they, at one point, they realized, like, yo, the police officers is not gonna help, the politicians not gonna help. This is the Veritech and the company, and Kim's dad being powerful is not gonna do anything. So Theo and Cindy confronted the group. It was politicians, Kim's dad, some other white dudes, and one fucking black dude. There's always that one black person in the fucking conference room, right? So Sydney realized that, yo, they right, you can't call the police or nothing. So shit start blasting, boom, boom, boom. I'm like, yeah, set that shit off, boom, shooting everybody. So she fucking missed Kim, because Kim didn't realize Sydney wasn't dead, because they had sent the dude to kill Sydney, but they was playing like Sydney was dead. So Sydney kills the father. Then Theo's like, yo, you behind this shit? So Theo shoots Kim. I'm like, yeah, that bitch had to go anyway. She thought she was too bad and bougie, and the world revolved around her. Now she had to go. So long story short, they end up killing most of the people. Then this is the part that got me tight. They go back to rescue the other patients because they was all drugged up, so they needed help getting out. Then the fucking 3 people that had escaped the room when they were shooting it up had caught them off by surprise and hit them over the head. So Theo and Sydney now strapped to a gurney or whatever. Next thing you know, all the rest of the black residents who's fighting with the police, they come rescue Sydney and Theo. So it's the older residents too, Miss Candace, Mr. Fitzroy, and Gracie. So I'm thinking like they're oblivious to everything, and then here comes Miss Candace and Gracie like, yo, you thought you was the only one that realized something was fishy was going on. We told you. At one point, Candace was like, when the police came, get into the crib, and then Sydney and Theo was like, nah, we about to go off and do our own thing. So Candace is like, oh, we told you come in the house, you should have listened. So they was like, nah, we knew something was going on, we didn't know what, but we here to rescue. So long story short, they rescue everybody who was strapped down. Then Candace and Gracie and all them set the hospital on fire. It didn't come back to them. It just basically said that the blackout caused the fire, and that was that. So what I got from this book is that white companies, white corporations, politicians, they will do anything to get what they want as far as gentrification goes. And it was shown in the book. That shit had me thinking like, yo, a lot of these neighborhoods are being gentrified. Did some shit like this go down? Because I wouldn't put it past nobody. I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't put it past nobody. That shit is real. And the book kind of like, yo, got me nervous a little bit. And I'm like, yo, you know, it's something to think about. Gentrification is real. It's truly sad, especially the black community. But I also like that this book talked about a lot of black history, especially an all-black thriving community called Weeksville. Weeksville was founded by blacks. It was a lot of black businesses, a lot of black homes, a community, and of course it was run and taken over by white people, and then it occurred in Brooklyn, and then they have built Eastern Parkway through it, so you wouldn't even know. So now that when I look at Eastern Parkway, I'm driving on Eastern Parkway, I'm like, yo, I'm thinking like, damn it, a whole community a black community was here. And I learned a lot of history. It tells you a lot about history. I didn't get into that. I didn't spoil a lot. I left a lot of stuff out in this review because if you go to read it, it's just a lot. But I understand Sydney's pain and her community. She loved her community and she just wanted it to remain the same. And you just have these people coming in and taking it over and not having a care. And a lot of people have gone through that, have dealt through that. And I just like the horrors of gentrification. But anyways, guys, this is my review. If you like the review, like it, drop a comment. Also, the books, Amazon is still late with the book, so the next review I'm gonna do, you guys have been requesting it. I haven't done it. I'm gonna do a Deeper Love Inside, but for the most part, drink your wine. Woo! And until next time, guys, I'm out.